coming. How many of you is this your first time here?
First time I have.
Nice. Well, thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate it. 1 Million Cups is a weekly entrepreneurial event. We're going to get to hear from 2 dynamic startups in our community. Then it's on you to ask them questions after they present. This is your opportunity to give advice, pick up on things you heard throughout their presentation, try and make connections to customers or mentors or the things that they need to grow their businesses here in our community. I just want to share a couple things with you before we get started. Number one, our good friends at Spathos were cover models. They were the top 12, in fact, number 1, maker, mover, and shaker. I don't know how to pluralize that. But congratulations, guys. And then I just want to tell you guys a little story about how dedicated our team of volunteers is here. So this morning, our second presenter today, Luis, ran into some trouble and got a flat tire and was not going to make it. So Marie Ann took it upon herself to drive all the way to North Tampa to pick up Luis. Along with Marie Ann, we have Mr. Richard Wood. We have Sencha, our friends John Morrow, Ruben Pressman, and Danielle Whitelaw. I am Sean Kennedy, and I will stop talking and introduce you.
Hello. Good morning. My name is Devin Dillon, and before I get started, I'm here to talk about a company called CIEN Solutions that we launched out in the middle of last year. I just want to say thank you all for coming out here. I'm from Missouri. I was born and raised in St. Louis. I live in Springfield, Missouri, and I started the 1 Million Cups in Springfield. And it's just a really big honor to be here today, to be in front of this huge crowd. I mean, what a turnout. Packed house. You guys have like double the amount of seats, or even double the amount of seats. And really, I just want to say thanks to the organizers, because as an organizer, I understand all the time, energy, and effort that it takes to put this whole thing together. If it wasn't for the organizers who, if you didn't know, don't get paid to do this, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. We all wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have this chance to build St. Petersburg, build economic development, and really build our companies, and more importantly, build relationships in this room. That for me is what entrepreneurship, small business is really all about. So CIEN Solutions is the company that I'm going to be discussing today, and we've been working on this project for about 3.5 years. To tell you a little bit about my background, like I said, I'm from St. Louis. My dad moved down here, so we're just starting to spend a lot of time in St. Petersburg in the Tampa area. The weather in Missouri is not as nice as it is today. It's a little cold, but it's a whole lot better than Missouri. So I have a background in investments and marketing, and as I said, to me, relationships are everything. And one of my clients in the investment companies noticed that we were starting to do a lot of international business, and they had a manufacturing company in Tulsa, Oklahoma, specifically doing electrical engineering, motors, controls, sensors, and variable frequency jobs. And they said, hey, Devin, why don't you help us out with your friends out in the Middle East and in South America? Could you send us some business? I said, sure, of course. I thought it was going to be a simple referral process, help them out, maybe get paid in the meantime. And that was about 3.5 years ago. And through that process, we discovered that it'd be a whole lot easier and needed to actually start a company to facilitate these contracts, and which have a really long sales cycle. So what do we do, and what is CIEN Solutions? CIEN Solutions is a company that connects domestic manufacturers and suppliers, primarily with emerging markets, specifically right now, heavily in the Middle East and South America. We focus on 2 different market sectors. We focus on existing manufacturers that have small to medium-sized companies that have been in business for a long time and that are not currently global. So there's a lot of manufacturers. Does anybody here know of a manufacturer or a supply house that is doing business in America but is not completely global yet? Does anybody have any idea of those companies? Okay, so a few of you. That's how this whole thing got started, and that's one of our biggest market segments, is expanding established companies to new markets. So right now we have a focus on industrial and commercial equipment and supplies. Again, our primary markets are South America and the Middle East. We'll be growing beyond there, but we have agencies located in Saudi Arabia, which are our primary markets. Right now, we focus on tank gauges, filters, filtration, refining. Again, this all really started with an electrical engineering firm which does variable frequency drives, engines, motors, controls, stuff like that. If you guys are like me, you probably don't know what any of that does or really what the application is. And we do not specialize in that process, the manufacture, the supply, or the building of these products and services. What we specialize in is bringing them to market in different areas of the world, specifically the markets in which we talk about. The application, what are these services used for? Again, it's all really commercial and industrial, primarily in oil and gas, food and beverages, material handling contracts. The second side of our business is bringing in new technology and services globally and domestically. Right now we work with two new products. One is a portable power unit, which is circuit boards that charge and decharge batteries to have oil and gas wells be standalone through alternative power using traditional solar and wind power. The second is a paraffin solvent, which is a licensing contract that we have the rights to internationally, which increases oil production for downwell uses in hot climates. So this company is a lean startup. We aren't looking for funding. That'd be great, but we really don't have a use for that. To scale this company is more about distribution, contracts, and other agencies and other distribution outlets. I know a lot of the companies that typically come through 1 million cups, at least in the Midwest, I assume it's here, are more on the tech side. They're here to seek capital to get started. We've already been started. We're already in business. We really believe in the lean startup method, if you guys are familiar with that. So the purpose of me being here is several-fold. One, I wanted to meet you all and connect with you guys and start building here in the St. Peters area. And second, to really get down to business, like how can you guys help me scale this company, and what is this company looking for? We're looking for two different things. On the first side, we're looking for more foreign distributors and contractors and people of influence in the procurement or buying section of commercial and industrial companies, and really specifically in the Middle East and South America. Direct buyers or people who have current vendors. There's been several people that we're talking with right now that already have products and services in the related industry and are doing volume, and then they can add different products and services to their current inventory. Or people directly in companies in oil and gas that are on the procurement or buying side. The second side of what we're looking for, again, we're a little bit more selective on this side, is the manufacturing and supplying. So if you know manufacturers and suppliers that have an existing business that has really been successful, typically on this side, we work with companies between $15 and $40 million in gross revenues that are looking to expand beyond sales in the United States or North America, and the new technologies and products or services that haven't yet been to market. Those are really the sectors that we look at, and that's what we would be looking for here as a community at 1 million cups instead of cash. So I'll open it up for Q&A. Anything that you guys want to talk about, 1 million cups or CIEN Solutions? Yes, sir.
A couple of things. Number one, are you providing any assistance to the manufacturers to help them with the process of exporting, which is a difficult hurdle for a lot of manufacturers? And number two, having been a vendor manager and purchased this type of thing, I want to see an Amazon type rating system for the vendor. I want to know, is my product going to show up on time? Is it going to be of decent quality and so on? I want it to be rated by other people who use that same vendor.
Right, great. So you bring up a really interesting point. So people have been doing this is a manufacturer's rep, a distribution company model. This is the structure in which we operate. An Amazon type company would be great. There's nothing that exists in the industrial world for manufacturers rep for a company in Oman to look up domestic companies here in the United States and have a rating for electric motors. That does not exist. They have to call or they have to know somebody. So that's the opportunity for us, is to come into that situation. The first question, as far as helping with exporting, with our existing manufacturers and suppliers, they take care of the warranties, the shipping, and the handling, and the overall service. What we help with would be the regulations, the port controls into these countries, and then the facilitation of those contracts to be secured. So ultimately,
You do provide assistance for those.
yeah, and then the warranties and the shipping will be done by the manufacturer. Yes.
Do you work with businesses in the automation space? For example, like if you have an automated shipping facility that has barcode scanners and PLCs and things like that, do you work with companies like that that offer good products and services?
On the supply side,
Yes.
right now we do not. If you know a great company that I need to talk to, we're open to.
My father. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it's a more simple question, but how do you get paid?
Right. Very, very simple. We get a percentage of all the contracts that we produce. So either a 10% or a percentage of licensing contracts as well.
So is there a tie-in if I am somebody who needs to scale my product and I want to manufacture that? Can you facilitate that with offshore manufacturers and bring them in?
Yeah, right now we typically do not do that at all. We're completely really a different industry. So the manufacturers and suppliers that we use here are domestic, and they're producing a product or service, and then we help them with the marketing side for new development in new territories. And then the flip side would be sourcing and procurement from buyers in foreign markets that want to buy our particular products here in the United States. So like if you had a widget that you wanted to buy or start manufacturing, we are like the guys who go source that in Asia.
What kind of companies are you looking for on the sales end? We can keep our eyes and ears open for telco contracts. What type of companies?
On the supply side or distribution side?
On the distribution side, as far as closing contracts.
Right, so twofold. One, distributors and vendors that are currently selling to commercial and industrial companies. And really, we prefer people that have an extended track record and already have a list of clients and already have a list of products and services that they're currently marketing. One of the advantages that we have, and which is tough and kind of against the lean startup model, is some of these sales cycles are extremely long. The filtration company that we work with, they have sales cycles of 7 years, which is insane amount of time. But at the same time, that's the opportunity, right? So if we can ride that out and have other products and services that we can offer in the meantime, there's not many other manufacturers reps that are able to go through that sales cycle. What we have found is most manufacturers rep or distributors are looking for a more quick turnaround, smaller commissions, and higher volume, which is great, and that provides a service, but most manufacturers and suppliers don't necessarily have that. So they need distribution points, manufacturing reps around the globe that are able to withstand their sales cycles. The other side would be people in the procurement office, the people, and we're typically in a lot of these foreign markets, it's governmental agencies and people connected with the government that are working with the largest companies on their procurement, especially in North America.
Having worked in manufacturing for years and watched, many of the companies I've worked for built, I just want to say, in case anybody else missed it, a guy here with a company that is supporting American manufacturing, I just want to say kudos.
It's been an interesting, I did not set out to build this company. As I said, it's kind of started a long time back just with referrals. And what I have found to be the biggest value add is small to medium-sized companies that are doing great, right? I mean, I'm come from Springfield, Missouri. It's like a cow town. There's like 170,000 people in there. Our 1MC's got 100 people a week, though, which is awesome, right? So many manufacturers and suppliers here in the United States, which obviously there used to be more, are not yet global. they think of the Middle East as a terrorist-warn stricken region, I mean the entire region. So the thought process and the philosophy is not there, let alone the relationships and the comfortability to travel there or to work with them and to leave some prejudices behind. But that is the opportunity that this company is really capitalizing on, is the medium-sized companies that are successful, that have been in business for 30 to 50 years, but have never once sold outside of the United States. Their products and services might eventually get to foreign markets or other areas, but it's via 4 or 5 distribution channels before that. So cutting out 3 levels of distribution is where we make our money, and then obviously very valuable to the manufacturers and suppliers domestically.
The barriers to entry into those markets is extremely high. It's very, very difficult.
Very high.
The service you're providing is really, really good.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And it takes a long, long time. And that's the advantage and disadvantage of the company. But what I found is really boils down to relationships, and the entire business is off relationships. The entire all the manufacturers and suppliers that we represent built their companies on relationships, and that's why I'm really invested into the 1 million cups and entrepreneurship. And I think the symbiotic relationship with a non-traditional startup like this is really interesting, and it's viable because it's all a matter of relationships and connections. It's amazing what can happen out of a few phone calls. Yes.
So, as you become known as the industrial source, let's just say, for this motor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And something crazy happens, like they start pumping a lot of oil out of North Dakota. Are you saying you're not interested in helping that motor manufacturer sell more into that market that's here domestically? You say, hey, sorry, that's outside of our domain, or not?
Absolutely not. So what our value add is typically the access to other markets. Right now, so currently speaking, for our current product offering, our companies are already very successful in the United States. Now granted, of course, they could be more successful in the United States. And this is currently speaking towards our current product offering. They have sales reps and a team and structure in place to solicit domestically. And for, to be familiar with this type of industry, most of it's done on a territorial basis. And that's the easiest way to track sales and progress. So if we start negotiating contracts in Brazil, and these sales cycles take years, right? And in 3 years, the efforts that we just put together, a contract gets closed in Brazil. Who's responsible for that contract? So in this industry, the model is typically done on a territorial basis, and typically these existing companies already have the United States handled decently. And so what we do is we open up new markets for those existing manufacturers. But if something changed and we had to close down a market per se, we would look at other markets, we would look at other vendors, and then we would look at domestically as well if the marketing efforts weren't being fully utilized here in the United States.
What other needs have you identified in those emerging markets, and what other products or manufacturers would you be looking for in the future?
Right, so when you say what are the needs in general as an entire market? Or
Yes, yeah. I'm sure they need other products than that in those emerging markets, but have you identified other products that would be needed?
Yeah, for this company, we really try to, there's a million widgets out there, right, that can be sold, and these emerging markets are the fastest growing markets in the world. So they need a lot of products and services. They need a lot of personnel. The foreign, we got people from France here, which is great. At my school, we had this entire thing started from the foreign exchange program at my school. I had friends in Saudi Arabia, and I had friends in South America. It's really how this whole thing got started. They need education, they need personnel, they need training, they need staffing, and of course they need products and services. This company focuses on industrial and commercial equipment and supplies. They need computers. The e-commerce is huge, right? So in both of the markets that we're currently in, e-commerce is like really nipping at us. We work with other companies on different projects, but the industrial growth is what we focus on. They need a lot more things outside of the scope of this company. And that's a huge plus. Yes.
Speaking of e-commerce, how do you address Alibaba and those kinds of things? You're doing similar kinds of things available locally to Chinese companies primarily.
Right. So Alibaba comes up often when we talk about this company. And we're really just in different markets. So Alibaba is a commercial to Amazon. If you need a chemical in bulk and you're kind of a small retailer, that's where you go. It's connecting directly to those manufacturers. Doesn't really happen on Alibaba, and there's no customization. So with our chemicals, again, those contracts are really large. You know, the 7 to 8 figure contracts you don't really buy online. And again, you need to go through and do the diligence. You need to check the manufacturers out. Typically, there's handshakes, there's travel that goes through these contracts. So that's the downside. Is the sales cycle is long, but the contracts are a lot larger. Specifically on electrical engineering, every single build is a custom build. So when we're going for RF request for proposals, those proposals get bid on. Those bids are all custom, tailored by engineers, and then those projects are completed. So the customization nulls out a company like Alibaba. Yes. Yeah.
Have you come across products that sell well here in the U.S. but no one else in the world wants?
I think some other substances, but we don't get into that. Is there anything in particular that you had in mind?
I was just curious if you noticed something that, like a market that's only fits in America and no one else in the world wants to touch.
Yeah, I don't know. We're kind of on the other end of that. So we take, it's the reverse, right? So we take domestic products and services and sell them to the rest of the world. Will we get into that where we're bringing in products from other markets and bringing it into the United States? Possibly. That's just not what we have specialized in right now.
I know you briefly mentioned it earlier, but can you expand a little bit more on how you plan to scale the company? Like, where do you see yourself in 3 years, 5 years, et cetera?
Right. I think, I come from a marketing background, and some of my friends and family are here. I think the biggest, and when I think of scaling, I think of distribution, right? So it's all simply about distribution. How can I get more distribution points out? We can continue to sell directly to companies and do okay, and we get 100% of the commission and the service agreements. But really, I really enjoy the agency model. We have an agency in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, that took about 1.5 years to push through the Ministry of Government there in Saudi Arabia, and that's one of the main things that I'd be looking for right now today. And to scale and grow the company is to continue to work with the distributors that are already pushing volume of product and services, specifically to key markets in the Middle East and South America. We haven't done any business in Russia. We just started doing business in Iraq. It's completely by fluke. There was a group of men that are out here now. We're bidding on electric motors in Iraq. But distribution agencies that can take our product offering and offer them to their existing clients is probably that's the jump start on scaling. And then the other side is once these contracts get secured, that buying relationship is a long-term process, right? So if we're able to fulfill work for these companies once, we typically do that again, and then specifically with in-country agencies, they become a vendor. And once you're on a vendor list for a huge company, you tend to stay on there and you get the RFPs a whole lot faster. And so once we have a client, that client typically stays. So repeat business is a huge way. And this is really more like a slow and steady long-term growth. We aren't looking for that hockey puck style graph of, all right, we're going to take a large amount of investment, we're going to put it into this, and then we're going to increase users. This is a slow and steady increase, corporate B2B sales of long-term contracts. And some of our contracts, again, it might take 3 to 4 years to fulfill, and that's how we sustain the company and scale it up.
So what way do you monitor the quality of the product that you market?
Right, great question. So again, we have two primarily tiers of products and services that we offer.
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, sorry. The question was, how do we measure the quality of the product that we are offering? And the first one is by only working with existing companies that are extremely successful and have long-term track records. So as I mentioned, at least $15 million in gross revenue, and typically at least 10 years old. So these companies are established, they've been in business for a long time. And in what I have found in the industrial and commercialization products and services, it's like a good old boy habit. I mean, these guys are my dad and grandpa's age. They've had their business for at least 30 years, and they just don't do business overseas. But they see a young buck like me that has connections all across the world and thinks globally, and they say, all right, well, I'm looking to retire. I want my company to grow. I want to build this. We aren't going to jump and start marketing in Saudi Arabia. They just are, the linear thinking is not there. So instead of developing sales force, going to those countries and figuring that stuff out, they can allow us to represent their products and services through a contract, and that's all new business that they did not have before. Very, very, very low risk for them, very, very low risk for us, and then the clients, the manufacturers, and us are all happy, and we all get a percentage of the contracts.
I just wonder if you had looked at other verticals that are very similar. I worked in the citrus industry globally in the past, and a lot of what you're saying, the processes are the same. The equipment is not exactly the same, but it's the same category of equipment. And those industries that may exist in certain places may be a way of entering that process, entering those countries a lot faster.
It's like food and beverage.
Well, in my case, I was working in citrus industries, but we had that same industry-specific type of building an industry within the country. And those connectors were absolutely critical because we were using land, we were converting land use. There's a lot of things that we were doing in order to build that product itself, and then the actual import and export of product was brought in raw materials out of the country. So it was. You might look at that, look at the citrus, but there are others as well.
Right.
Wood, pulp. Yeah, I mean, we work with, we actually mirrored the pulp industry and work with Weyerhaeuser, those groups, because we would just ride on their coattails because there's technically a smaller industry than them.
Right, so the overlap of models, if you take an objective look at this business and what is the model, there's a product and service and there's distribution points, whether we're selling widgets or we're a tech startup or we're selling huge industrial equipment at 7 to 8 figures per contract. It's all really the same stuff, right? We have a product and service and we're selling it and that's it. So whether it's industrial oranges or wood pulp or bow ties and shoes, the models are the same.
Yeah.
And as we continue to grow the company, the import and export aspect actually really comes up because manufacturers rep business is kind of on the decline. There's not as many manufacturers anymore. Manufacturers reps don't want to, can't sustain 1 to 2 year sales cycles. And as we continue to grow, there's other products and services that can be overlapped.
So how, as a community, can we help you grow your business?
Right, thank you. And I think that's like the crux of the awesome, best part about 1 Million Cups. This is like the most altruistic organization. This is all done for free. There's free coffee, free rent. Organizers work for free. I don't pay anything to promote my business here. It's unbelievable. So I don't think you could be part of a better organization than 1 Million Cups. So definitely come back and support the group. But what we are looking for, as I suggest, are those distributors and people in the procurement and buying offices in foreign markets. If there happens to be a manufacturer or a new technology that's looking to go overseas or looking to be coming to market, we would take a look at that. They have to be the right product and service at the right time. And really, it's the distribution points. And you guys can find me online, the company's on there, and you guys can check out the 1 Million Cup St. Pete website. All that information is on there. And I'd love to meet you guys anyways and help out with some other projects. And before I close, again, I just want to say thanks to the organizers. You guys make this happen. And thank you all for coming out.
about some fun events coming up over the next couple weeks. I know Sean and I mentioned it last week, but if you weren't here, next week is the kickoff for Tampa Bay Startup Week. So there's over 60 events that are happening both in Tampa and over here in St. Pete, all around startups, entrepreneurship. They have all different types of tracks. You have Mo over here who's doing a maker's track, so if you got any questions, she can answer that. There's a beer track, there's a crowdfunding track, there's a specific entrepreneurship crowd, so there's a lot going on. We'll send out the information at the end of the day with the links to everything, but it's tampa.startupweek.co if you want to see the full schedule, and it's things happening from 9 o'clock in the morning all the way to 9 o'clock at night. So there's a lot of cool things happening. And over here you have a couple more, we have here, thank you Mo, she brought some marketing material for the makers portion of it and all the events that are going on, so we've got some information there as well. You have a Startup Grind that's hosted every single month over at Oxford Exchange in Tampa. Talks about entrepreneurial track, how they grew their business, and it's a really nice Q&A session, kind of similar to this format as well. You have a Not Your Average speaker series that's put on by 83 Degrees. That'll be right down the street at Iron Yard, so I highly recommend their events as well. Geekend is a very informal event that'll happen over the weekend. Everyone meets at St. Pete Beach and just has fun on Saturday. So it's a time to put down your laptop and get out and enjoy the area that we live in. So another good thing to be a part of. You have tech talks that are always at Microsoft. So that one's coming up as well. And then followed by Lovely Chamber puts on your Bright Spots Business Expo at the Coliseum. So all great events to be a part of. If you have any questions, want to figure out where to find the information, check your email later today or come see me and I'm happy to give you all the details. So up next, we have Lewis who's coming up. He actually presented about a year ago, so we're here to learn about what's changed and how he's continued to progress his business forward. So please give him a warm round of applause.
Good evening, folks. My name is Louise. I did present 1 year ago. They asked me to present. We were like 1 week up and running. So we had a bunch of ideas of what Indino can actually do, and this is what we realized what Indino is meant for. Indino is where members' attendance matters. We are a digital schedule that allows members to follow your digital schedule of your organization or your associations and always receive your event no matter where they are. So if you're part of an organization and you're an event director, the hardest part of any event is letting the people know. Letting your members be aware of when the event is, what date, what time, what location, and what the event is about. The biggest issue is also letting them know about all your events at once. This created a horrible routine. The first thing was create email blast. Email blast takes a while. You have to create templates, contents, then you have to put all the information in. Then you have to select the categories of which members and when to promote it. Then your second option also tends to be promote on social media, which doesn't really play out well because in Facebook and Twitter, though you may throw it out there, it may never be seen. I mean, right behind your post are several hundred other posts from friends, family, and different organizations. The last one and the most costly one is printing flyers. The biggest problem with printing flyers is that you can't update them. Once you print them out, any mistake you made, any error, any updates, it's gone and wasted. I mean, that flyer becomes obsolete. Now, this requires a lot of time. On average, it takes around 1 hour and 45 minutes per event if you're going to do all 3 steps. That's a lot of time to do. Imagine if you have like 5 events, and that's to form an entire community members. While you're doing this, you're just mostly competing with their inboxes and social feeds. Their inbox is already crowded with work, personal, promotion, emails, and that's including the social feeds. Social feeds tend to be the new inbox now when it comes to mail. And this is all just to keep your members informed. These people pay to be part of your organization or already put the time and effort into your association to be part of whatever your mission and your cause is. They want to know about your events. They want to know about when to go and what time to prepare for. But the thing is, they need to prepare ahead of time. They need to throw into their schedules to make sure they have that time slot cleared. Now, once you do all those 3 factors, the worst things happen is you may have low attendance, and that's because it becomes buried in emails, unseen on your social media, or it's completely forgotten. Because you may have a web calendar, but they never check the web calendar. The problem with the web calendar is that there's no way to notify you of a new event. There's no updates. There's not any sort of message to let you know that there's a new event up there. Which tend to, within our research, people tend to result in unsubscribing your email blast or unfollowing your Facebook page. And that's the worst thing that can happen to an organization or association. We understand because we remember too. When we started Indino, we had this purpose for college kids trying to be informed about events. We realized that college kids are not really type A personality. They don't need to keep informed about events at all times. So we took a little hiatus and decided to join a couple of organizations ourselves, just to really understand the problem that an average member tends to go through when it's about trying to stay informed with events. Our simple solution in Indino is a direct line scheduling system. We specialize in one-click workflow. Versus you clicking 1,000 times for one particular event to inform your loyal members, Indino allows you to create a schedule once and create as many events as you want on the schedule. All they have to do is follow your schedule. So every time you have an event, they receive a notification on their phone, and from there they can personally add it into the calendar, or they can just decline it. And the great thing is, you know about it. You know how many people are attending, you know how many people have declined, and you know how many people haven't decided yet. So once the event actually does come to date, you can actually prepare for it. Indino is very simple. We have just 4 main operating tabs. It takes less than 5 minutes to learn, and it takes less than 90 seconds to make an event. Once you create, you just begin posting, and it's one-click delivery. Members will just join your chapter schedule, receive the events in chronological order, and from there, any event they wish to accept will be imported into their personal calendar, which could be either iCal, Google Cal, or Outlook. How easy is it? It takes less than 3 minutes to create a schedule, less than 90 seconds per event, and it's 100% assured that it's been delivered. So you automatically know who received the event and how many people will be attending. Now, we pitched 1 year ago, and how we evolved, well, no longer are we in the mindset of a startup. We have now put structures and titles behind us that we are now viewed as a company. We're here to improve your passion, not our passion. Your passion is a part of the organization and association, and we want to make it as simple as possible for you to know when the next event is, and if you can plan ahead of time. We're mostly, I'm not great at selling, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I really view selling as a partnership where I want to partner with you and make sure that your organization association receive the best attention and the best care. And our main goal with that is to improve your membership attendance as well as increase and maintenance. Our community is our team. We stop viewing ourselves and asking ourselves questions, and we start asking the people the questions, because the people are the ones that will be utilizing Indino. And once again, our last goal is that the last thing we realized is that we share our goals. Our goal is your goal. At Indino, we've been offered several times to leave St. Petersburg to go to a different city for an accelerator or a VC seed investment program. But it was over 4 times that we have declined each one of them to stay here. We want to stay here and we want to grow here because we don't want to be another startup that leaves the community. We believe in you guys and we hope that you guys believe in us. What Indino is looking for? Well, we're looking for a partnership, as I said. We're looking for 3 independent churches. Churches have a strong membership sort of bond when it comes to their community and they come to their members. And they always have community events, they always have special guest speakers, and they're constantly trying to keep ways to keep their members informed. We believe Indino will be perfect, as well as 3 trade associations. Trade associations are brilliant parts of communities where it comes to professions. They love to get engaged with the community as well as with the local members. The reason why we chose 3 is because with these 3, we can, technically with 6, we can really tailor it to the perfection of those categories and scale it from there.
So is there like a monthly fee or something
Right now we have just a 1-year fee. It's very low. It's very comical actually. It's $20 a year.
How many users do you have?
We have some of our, we have around 12 dedicated schedules. We just started launching a month and a half ago. And then we have around 600 users within those 12 schedules. But the one coolest schedule that we have is the City of St. Petersburg. We created a partnership with the City of St. Petersburg to promote community events. So everybody in here can actually follow your city and receive community events happening within your town. So with $20 a year, how do you sustain yourself? We were at the pitch 6 event last night, and like 100 people crashed their server, right? So there's lots of cost involved. If you get a church or a trade association that has 1,000 or 10,000 people and they want to use your service, is there another cost model that you think people should do, or do you think you'll continue at $20 a month, and how do you really sustain the company that way? Yeah, it's $20 a year. We are planning to go to a transition to a monthly. The monthly subscription will be around $4.99 a month per schedule. But right now, $20 a year is just a good test ground where you get to get comfortable with us, to trust us, to know that we're there for you. It also provides a low barrier entry and give us positive feedback to you for you to promote the community.
So man, how are you getting the app into the users' hands? So like the people that are members of that organization, if the organization already has a hard enough time marketing anything to them, how do they get the app in their hands to then learn about the future stuff?
Oh, so the main thing is we're mostly selling to whoever's in charge of the events or marketing, and from there they'll keep their members informed. They'll tell them to download the app, and from downloading the app you receive all the events. All you have to do after that, download the app, is just follow the schedule.
Right, so how do they, like if they already have a hard enough time marketing to their members the events, how do they market your app to their members successfully?
Best thing, is at the event. Just let them inform them about the app at the event. Once they follow you, it's the best and easiest way to stay informed about all future events.
You offer like a white label solution?
A white label? Not at the moment.
Basically branded towards like City of St. Petersburg, a customer. Can you make an app that's Indino, but it's branded for the City of St. Petersburg?
We thought about that, and there was a couple of questions about that. The reason why we want to have a universal platform is because I want to make sure that you're not following 6 different apps just for 6 different schedules. It's much easier if you just have one app for all 6 schedules. So if your kids are part of schools, if you are part of a trade organization, if you're part of a church, versus following 3 different apps, it's best to have one app to follow all 3 schedules.
Do most of your users have multiple schedules?
Yes.
Okay.
They tend to average between 2 or 3 schedules. That's the great part. Those 12 that we have right now active are tend to be connected to one another. We did it on purpose just to make sure the members are following multiple versus one.
How do you handle if the event isn't free and there needs to be payment?
Oh, we have a URL within the creation where a ticket button will come up, so you can use Eventbrite or you can use Ticketmaster, and from there they can purchase a ticket within the app using that service.
Can you take this product and white label it? So if I were part of an organization that was a collection of businesses in the community and I wanted to produce my own app with all of my events, could you transition this into my organization's skin and put it out there?
Yeah, we can actually. We can, the way the platform is right now, we can just change the face of it and do the customization of whatever the organization is and sell it from there. That would be an independent sort of solution on the side.
I know you mentioned earlier that you can use Eventbrite or Ticketmaster if it's a paid event. Is that an extra fee as an organizer that you're going to pay, or are you only going to pay the fees directly to Ticketmaster and Eventbrite?
At the moment, you will pay the fees directly to Ticketmaster and Eventbrite. So in the future, we would love to start our own ticketing service for the app.
I know there's some project like this in France called Steeple, and how do you ensure the safety of this platform? You have to know, because everybody can go on Steeple, this is not safe. You have like an administrator, like a Facebook group, who is going to accept, who is going to be in the schedule or something like this?
Right now, you can have the schedule be private and locked, which requires a 4-digit passcode. Once you decide to go private within your schedule, a member can follow by entering the PIN code. But if a community fan who loves the organization, but only wants to receive the open community events, they can follow as a fan. So technically, you can have 2 followers within one schedule. So you have your paid members and your fans. The great thing about that is that the fan members can transition to a paid member. So it's one thing to when people come to your event, you want them to follow you right off the bat just to receive your future events.
What other features do you have that you're looking towards in the future that you'll be able to monetize? Like what's next?
Oh, we would love to have our own sort of digital schedule API that you can embed into your personal website. That'd be the easiest way for people to start following you, and a great way for us to, become branded to your website. But there's other things in the pipeline. At the moment, we're just mostly testing this version out. Yes.
I know that you said that you could purchase the tickets through Ticketmaster.
Can hear you,
or
Carl.
Eventbrite. But what if, can you work with something where if, say, on my website, I have a way to purchase tickets through my website, do you have a way to integrate that feature, for example?
Yeah, so mostly the ticket button just requires your URL. So once you create whatever event that requires tickets, you just enter the URL, and from within the app, it just appears the ticket button. And once you click on the ticket button, it just takes you to the URL. It's more like a hyperlink.
Gotcha.
Anyone else? Yes.
So what's your sales strategy? Couple of questions. Sales strategy to sell to organizations?
Yeah.
And second is what's your team right now look like?
All right.
And yeah.
Our team right now is very, very lean. We have 2 programmers, 1 graphic designer, and 1 business strategist, and then myself, which is the founder. We're very lean, but we're very, very powerful when we put this together. Our sales strategy right now is the trade association as well as the non-denominational independent churches. They have already a loyal community members, and they're also trying to find ways to branch out into the community. So they're already trying to keep their members informed. Problem is that workflow tends to be dramatically like 3 hours plus and witnessing. We're selling them where it can be now to 90 seconds.
What's your competition look like?
Sorry, the competition?
Yeah.
At the moment, the competition, we searched around. People are just mostly using MailChimp. But the problem with MailChimp is that it becomes, people throw too much stuff on it, and people are getting bombarded with just emails in general. So that's our one competition, as well as Google Calendar. The problem with Google Calendar is once you embed it into your website, no matter what kind of event you upload, people won't know about it. It will just sit in your website.
What about Meetup? Like, how are you different from Meetup? And can people use Meetup for the same purpose as Indino?
Meetup sort of can kind of be like Indino, but Meetup is more, the difference between Indino and Meetup is that Meetup is national. Indino is within only your city. Indino is only within a 15-mile radius. So your trade association, if I wish to follow it, I have to be within the city to follow it. So it guarantees that whatever people are following within your schedule, they're in your community. They're not some just random person in New Jersey who are just interested in it. And it also becomes a good search feature where if people are trying to search what events or what organization are out there within their community, they can search within Indino and see a listing.
Just a comment and a question. I've been to a few meetups where people who, for a tourist destination, they look up meetups in St. Pete, so they specifically can do stuff while they're down here, so that you might not want to make it too local. But then I'd say that competition locally for me, I go down to Luxembourg. You get a weekly email, tells everything that's going on in St. Pete. It's curated. Those guys have a lot of experience in finding events, like promoting their brand, and trying to get that out there. Do you see them as competition? Are you working with them? Because for me, this would be maybe a decision. Do I download these app look at events, or do I look at their website?
Well, the one thing I do love about Petersburg is that it's more of a general public events where it lets you know about upcoming public events. What Indino is about is mostly keeping your members informed of your events. So organizations and associations, they may not have public events. They may only have members-only events, which I love very wouldn't publish because it will be only members-only. They wouldn't want to hit that market. I'm all about keeping your members informed more directly and more efficiently. great thing about Indino is that any event that sort of change within time, location, or date, you go back to the event, edit it, and it updates everyone. So automatically they will know the new time, the new location, or the new place. Yes.
Why are you limiting this to geographic St. Pete? I mean, this is, what's the difference if the church is in Cincinnati or St. Pete? Who cares?
Well, no, so anyone can use it right now. It's on the open web, but once you create a schedule, you must enter an address and zip code. From there, only the people within that zip code radius mile, within the 20-mile radius, can pick up your schedule. So the reason why we do this is because a lot of trade associations share we share the same name. So if I'm joining PR, association, I don't want to see PR association in 50 different states. I just want to see the one in my city, in my neighborhood. So it allows them to quickly find you versus them trying to search for you.
If a few of my members haven't downloaded the app yet, is there still a way to notify them of the event through email or text? Or is there any way to do that through email?
No. The reason why we don't do that is because the biggest issue is that emails tend to be not the best way to keep members informed about their personal events, and it's not the easiest way. Yeah, and the reason I say that is because emails involves a lot. It involves your newsletters, it involves work email, it involves personal emails, promotion. So you're automatically going to get lost in the shuffle. We're just trying to make a platform where it's all about events, and it's all about the events that cater to you, for you to attend to, that you need to attend to, that you want to attend to. I mean, if you join an organization, you want to attend their events. Yes?
Can I make a suggestion? What if instead of just having it all based in the app, you also have a web app for it? Because I use Flow for task management. And if I get like a notification, an email or something, it doesn't automatically open up in the Flow app. It also, you can also view it on just the web. So,
We thought about that. We're actually on the pipeline of creating a web version, web-friendly screen for the application. It gets a little tricky when it goes from app to web, so we're trying to go through that hurdle right now. But we do appreciate that. Yes?
So when you download the app, then do you select the organization that you want to get information from?
So once you download the app, all you have to do is hit the search button, and you just type in the organization or the association that you wish to follow. It'll appear. You hit follow, and then every time they have an event, you appear on your home screen page. Yes?
Is it only organizations, associations, or there are other, like a theater or a political campaign can also join?
Yeah, so when we first started Indino, we tested out numerous of different categories and segments, but we realized that organization, association that have already loyal members tend to work best, and that's the market we're hitting right now, but it tends to be open for anybody. We have one, which is I think it's a book club, and it's in Sarasota, and they use it just to keep their members informed about the next book club meeting, what book they're going to read, and when is the next event for themselves. But yeah, it's open for the world, as ever you please.
So there are different types of events that people would host, and it sounds to me like you've really focused on the top-down information flow type event. What about events where like Scrum is being used or open space? And is there ways for people at the bottom to be able to create the agenda and then send back upwards and out? Or is it strictly for people to be able to say, here's the agenda, go here if you want to be there?
At the moment, we're going from the top-down approach for whoever's in charge of events or marketing. They're mostly the people that tend to do the day-to-day, and then that needs to make sure that the members be aware of it. But in the future, we would love to throw peer-to-peer events, and that would probably be one element that we can think of. But right now, it's from top to bottom.
I hear you saying geographical location, saying 20 miles, or are you allowing the organization to put in that mile amount? Because what if I have some people in my membership that are at 21 miles away from where I'm at, and they're getting out, and I want a 50-mile radius, or I, as my organization, want a 60-mile radius? Are you allowing them to have that capability?
Right now, we have a standard platform of 20 miles radius, but the thing is, once you follow the schedule, no matter where you are within the U.S., you will receive the event. You just have to follow the schedule once within the city.
So if I'm here and I follow a bunch of schedules and I go to New York for a business trip, I will still receive the event. It's just I won't be able to follow my schedule again in New York if I unfollow it. So once you follow it once in your city, it goes wherever you go. That's a good question. Thank you. Question? Yes.
I was just curious from the user side of it, rather than the organization side. Is there a way, say, for example, if I live in one particular radius and I work in another, or I have separate interests, is there a way to subscribe to two different schedules and differentiate them, like color coding or something, so that I know that like what I'm looking at is my work event notification versus my personal one?
So every schedule, okay, that icon, you have the option to upload your logo or your trademark, and from there you can differentiate which one, what event is which. So from the logo alone, so like the 1 million cup will be the symbol for one cup with a bunch of zeros in the back. They will use that as their logo on their schedule. So every time the event pops up, the logo pops up with it. So you can differentiate from there.
I'm just thinking like my job get together event.